Yeah, sure. I'm Josh Romaker, owner of Star Spangled Brewing Company here in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I began planning the brewery out in 2016 because I knew that I was getting ready to get out of the army and was looking for something else to do besides contracting. And I really wanted to challenge myself as far as learning a new hobby or skill. Um, Business doesn't really run in my family, so it was quite a steep learning curve as far as that goes for me. But I knew brewing beer was going to be my outcome. So you know starting a business on a military salary, we all know is very difficult to do. So you have to be inventive, creative with the way you raise funds and um, use your money. Uh, Unfortunately, my last deployment over into northern Iraq, Syria area, um, I decided just to go all in. I didn't want to half-ass it, so I cashed in um, all the stocks that I've had kind of just floating around in Scotch trade at the time. Had a couple grand in there, and then I did a Kickstarter campaign after that. Got another $25,000 from that to purchase the brewing equipment. And then after my deployment, I dropped my retirement packet, started brewing hardcore at the house, patting my recipes down, and really coming up with two or three performers of recipes. Because you can't have a brewery without good beer. I don't care, you know, what comes out of the tap is what's going to make you money. And you can have the fanciest of places. You can have a 3,000 square foot facility with a you know sports complex inside of it and a brew pub, but if your beer isn't up to standard, then you're probably going to go out of business as a brewery. So I wanted to have three or four performers when I started, because I knew I was going to start small and I had to bootstrap it, right? And I had to do everything myself. I did a business plan and found that it was feasible for me to start the brewery. And if I did everything myself, if I funded it through alternative ways, where I didn't have to have a bank note and I didn't have to pay interest on it. So yeah, the Kickstarter campaign went off well. The unit I was deployed with, with Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. So I wanted 25K out of it, and I think the last 24 hours, I was at like 23 or $22,000. And if you don't make your target goal amount, all the money goes back to the people that invested in you. So I was really stressing it. I went to bed that night knowing that I had to, come up with $3,000 to $5,000, in a couple hours. And the guys that I was deployed with at the time had been watching, kind of covertly from overseas, and they saw that I was short on some cash, so they pooled their money together and put in the last little bit for it, to push me over the goal. So I will always be forever grateful for that. But after that, got me my equipment. The only thing I had to do was raise money to put a down payment on a commercial property, which we all know is way more expensive than a residential. So the only additional income I was coming up with was selling my beer out of the back of my truck. Made a name for myself in the craft beer circuit, um, around Clarksville and Nashville area, with a few performers, most notably our Winchester Bourbon Ale. And kind of made a name for myself doing that. And then I got enough people liking it that I would just post online when I was going to be ready to serve it. And I would just trade growlers at the local supermarket in the back of my truck on Friday nights, Saturdays, and maybe some Sundays if requested. I would trade growlers of Winchester for a $20 donation, of course, because you can't sell beer. So I made enough money from doing that to, to put a down payment on my commercial place here. We're standing in front of my cold room here at my very first location that we opened up 7 years ago, and it's really been a great place, great endeavor. We've since expanded to a second location with a larger brewing facility, but this place here will always be home for us here in Clarksville, Tennessee.